Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so here's the thing. Here is the thing. So I've tested, I can't say all of the, I can't say every single one of them, but I've tested at least most of them, 90% of them, with a proc of one sort or another. And I can tell you that they work with it. They work with a proc. Now, here's the thing. A CTP of energy is probably going to be better. Well, in most cases, it is definitely going to be better. Now, depending on how much Pierce you have on cards, when I did some testing with certain characters that I had Rage on, and I swapped to a proc, they scored, like their time was about the same for World Boss Legend, okay? I can't say that this is going to apply to other game modes such as like ABX or Danger Room Extreme, but at the very least for World Boss Legend, like a character like Cable, when I did my testing with them, and I had, I want to say maybe around 16% Pierce, he clocked in. I was able to match my time that I did with doing the quick and dirty for null, that I had a Rage on him, that when I went back in with a regular Proc Obelisk, I think it was a 200 Proc Obelisk, I think the other stats were like Mind Resist and, you know, Immunity to Fear or some nonsense like that, and he clocked in the same. So depending on how much, you know, Pierce you have on cards, it might even be beneficial not even to use a Rage and just use a regular proc. But an energy will be better in most cases, probably in all cases, as opposed to a proc. But if you have a situation where you don't have a ton of, you know, energy just laying around, because not many players actually do, and if you want to get the most out of, you know, your characters, your inventory, I put together this list that, you know, these characters can work very well with just with a proc. All right, so let's start from the top. Let's start from the top. As a matter of fact, all three native tier 3s can work with a proc, and in most cases, right, if they can work with an energy, they can work with a regular proc. Mephisto. Now, before I built him up, I actually had I had like a, I don't know, 100 fire damage 140 proc on him. I went in to World Boss Ultimate, and I actually recorded some video, and I planned on to do like a you know, before and after, right? Level 60 Mephisto, and then a you know, maxed out Mephisto, you know, something like that comparison. And I recorded some footage using a proc, and I never ended up doing the video. But my point is that I use him with a proc, and he can work with the proc. He can definitely work with the proc. You're canceling all his skills. You're procking on 4, and then you're procking on his tier 3. So it's like, you know, 2, 5, 4 proc, and then it's 2, 5, 4, 6, and you proc on a 6, and it seemed to do pretty well. So I'm gonna say Mephisto is definitely one of those characters. Null, right? We know he works with an energy. You do 2, right? You're canceling some skills, but basically, you know, 4, 5, cancel 5 when he stabs into the ground, right? Not when he does the slash, because you don't want to proc on 5. You want to proc on 2. So like 4, 5, 2. You know, continue that proc, and then, you know, you're gonna hit his tier 3 with like 2, 3 seconds on his proc, and then you're gonna proc again on the 2. So he's definitely one of them. Sentry, he can work with the proc as well. I mean, I have an energy on this guy right now, and he works very well with, you know, with this energy. And even with an obelisk, this guy can do it all for you. He can do some, you know, now he's not going to be as good for PvE content with a regular proc, but sure, he can still get something done for you. And with any build, even with no build, he can still do, you know, some timeline for you. All right, Quicksilver, this guy, okay, he can work with a proc. He's actually very difficult to work with a proc, just because now any character with like residual, you know, elemental damage, he doesn't have elemental damage, but he okay, so let's go in here, and I'm going to show you. It's all these flying cars and buses that he spawns with his fifth, right? Watch how long they go on for, and these hits they just continue. They just, right, steel beams. Look how long that continues for. The bus, it goes on for a long time, and those hits love to re-trigger that proc. They love to re-trigger that proc. But his rotation, typically you can go like 3, 5, 4, or you could even do 5, 3, 4. And obviously you want the accumulation up on his 3 before you hit his tier 3. He can do it. He can do it. He's difficult. He's tricky. He's very tricky to play with this energy even. which works the same as a regular proc. All right, next up, Cable. Yeah, Cable, I told you, he's one of the characters that I matched his rage time with a regular proc, and a lot of that's due to the Pierce that I had on cards. Now, he's definitely one of the characters that I suggest putting, like if you have, you know, minimal brilliance, put a brilliant on him just because of his score in ABX. But here's the thing, he can score close to what he can score with this uniform and a brilliant energy with Kid Cable uniform and a rage with SFX on. I haven't tested this out myself, but I've heard from reliable sources that this is certainly the case. So, you know, depending on what's really important to you. Okay, Maker. This guy can definitely work with the proc. I mean, his rotation is actually pretty easy and breezy with the regular proc. You know, you cancel 3 right away, going to 4 as soon as his arms start, you know, snaking into the ground there. You hit the 5, easy peasy. And then for his tier 3, it's 3, 4, 5, and then you cancel straight away into his tier 3. I really don't like. Okay, for ABX, it's kind of difficult to get the full proc on the tier 3, but for World Boss Legend, I really didn't have an issue with it. And I think, and with all these buffs, he's actually a good character for World Boss Legend. I'll probably, so as of right now, because I did ABX stuff with him, I have the rage on him, but a Mighty Energy is certainly going to go back on him. And probably with I think the beatdown, you know, works best for him. So I'll be doing some testing. As a matter of fact, a future video is probably going to be like some combat villain action, like Carnage with a Mighty Energy, and then Maker with a Mighty Energy as well. Do something like that, because I know Carnage, he can work with a proc as well. That fifth is nasty. He's got some nasty damage on that 5th. All right, we all know Deadpool can definitely, you know, Deadpool, he or she is infamous, you know, with the proc. I have rage on her. I forget what I was doing, but this is definitely not an ideal CTP for Deadpool. Energy, I think, is just, you know, the best. Even with Pierce, I think energy is still very good for Deadpool, but he or she can definitely work with a proc, that's for sure. Okay, Storm. I put Storm on here. Now, I haven't tested this myself, but I've heard that she can actually work with a proc. So be a little hesitant on this. I mean, thing is, you know, any character that deals elemental damage, and you could roll like a double elemental, double lightning, double fire, 200 proc, I would say that's going to be very comparable to like an energy. If you got like high, you know, double lightning damage, 200 proc, I'd say I give an energy a run for its money. But yeah, this is something I'm gonna do something with Storm, because you know what? I went for a bunch of brilliance. I ended up getting pretty lucky. I ended up getting 3 more during this event here. But now I have all these mighty judgments. I made the mistake. So for anybody going for brilliance, you might not want to forge regular. Like I forged a handful of these without going for super success before the ×3, and I should have just waited. I should have waited, because I'm going to assume that some of them are going to be fails, and I'm going to end up with mighties, you know, that way. So, but yeah, maybe do something like Mighty Energy versus Mighty Judgment with Storm, or see if she can work with that. I know she has accumulation on her tier 3, and there's some pretty bonkers damage on it. All right, Sharon Rogers. Now, she's somebody I strongly suggest, if you have limited energies, putting an energy on her. But if you don't have any, right, she could definitely be somebody that gets some work done for you with a proc. 100%. She can do it. She can totally work with a proc there. Just, you know, if you play her right, accumulate that damage the right way, then send it back to him, and she can get it done. Okay, Iron Man. Iron Man's on this list as well, because I mean, I have an energy on this guy right now, and I really like him with this energy. I'm loving his rework, this uniform. You know, slowly but surely, you know, I keep building him up. I'll probably even, you know, get some more Odin's blessings on him. He does some work in Mephisto. Once Mephisto drops below those 18 bars, he just, I mean, he melts those bars. He melts those bars like nobody's business. So he could totally work with a proc. You just do 5, 3, 4. And then 5, 3, 4, 2, right? You proc on 4, but use the 2, and then you could do 5, 3, tier 3, and get the buff that he has on his 5th, this increased damage by 50% for one attack. You get that on his tier 3. Okay, Star-Lord. Star-Lord's somebody that could work with a proc as well. He's never really, I mean, he used to be pretty OP, right? He used to be pretty OP. He was ABX meta. Not so much anymore. He can work with a proc though. I mean, he works with this energy. His rotation isn't that bad. It could be a little tricky at times, but it's not that bad. It's just, you know, you're canceling a lot, and then you're waiting for skills to come off cooldown to pop his tier 3. All right, and now Black Widow, she can definitely work with the proc as well, right? I got an energy on her. And her, okay, I made a whole video. When you push the right buttons, there's crazy damage or something like that. And it's got Black Widow on the thumbnail. If you're not sure how to play her, or just like with a proc either, I would check out that video, because she did some pretty decent damage when you actually use the right rotation. All right, and Black Bolt. So Black Bolt, he's actually pretty fun to play. He works pretty well with the proc. Here, let's jump into a skill. So you're canceling 3, 5, and then you're going into the 4. That's not fast. Let's just do that. I'll have to check. And then you sit on 4. And then you sit on 4. And then his tier 3. Okay, so his 4 can stick a little bit. So what I like to do, because you have accumulation on his 3rd skill, and it's not for the whole duration of the cooldown. So you need to hit that right before the tier 3. And if you go like 4, 5, 3, tier 3, that tends to work out pretty well. And he's got some pretty nice damage on his tier 3. All right, who do we got? Man, why does it keep taking me out? I don't get it. Okay, so Vision. All right, this character he's become very tricky to play with the proc, right? I made the video. He is now, right? He's the tall glass of milk. He took that title because he was the fastest, even doing a whole run against Iron Man. But here's the thing, it can be very tricky to keep that proc like during a whole run. Keep it right and get it every time. Like I did a Mephisto run with him, right? Because make sure you're running Vision for you know, World Boss. Make sure he's on the team, not as a striker. And I tried to do like a whole run with him, just him, and I swear I probably missed half of my procs. I missed half of them just because, you know, the proc coming early. Like, okay, ideally this is what you want his rotation to look like. Ideally this is going to get you the most damage here. If you're playing him with a proc, you're going to do 5, 3, 4, and then when he spins around, when he spawns all his clones, you're going to hit the 2, and then you want the proc to be on the 2. Now you could do this to play it on the safe side. You can go 5, 3, 4, proc on 4, and then after he's done his skill, you could hit the 2. And then on the very next rotation, right, for his tier 3, you have to cancel. You got to do like 5, 3, 4, and then tier 3. But you can activate. It's very easy to activate that proc before you hit the tier 3. And you obviously want it on his tier 3. There's insane damage on his tier 3. But so that's where the struggle lies. I really wish, you know, Rage wasn't taking it. Seriously, why you got to take me all the way back there? Rage wasn't not taking a hit on you know, just per Pierce on cards, chain hit, you know, that the whole deal. All right, so Beta Ray Bill. So he's somebody that does elemental damage, right? And if you are one of the lucky few who can roll a double lightning damage 200 proc, I really think if I get one, I'll make the ultimate sacrifice and you know, feed it to the wolves and just, you know, destroy it. I mean, that might be something that you actually want. Oh, I can't show my CTP. So guys, remember the challenge, right? We posed the challenge. If somebody can guess the amount of CTPs I have in inventory, we're going to do a video of their choice. Now, okay, so two things on that is that I recorded my inventory, my CTP count when I did the video. But since then, I've been going for brilliance. I've rolled you know, I've rolled brilliance with other CTP. So that count has changed. It's changed, you know, it's changed a little bit. I did some more gambling in between as well, so some other factors at play. But I think I'm going to do this. I think there'll be 2 winners. So the person who guessed my CTPs at that time, because I have that video, I have the little short clip, and I'll play it. and then when I actually make the video, I'll do another count, and whoever's closest to that number as well. So this is going to be coming up in one of the next, I don't know, maybe 2 videos or so. And get your video of choice ready. Have an idea of what that is, because we'll be doing that. All right, so if you can get anyways, back on track now. Double lightning damage, 200 proc. I really think that would give energy a run for its money. And like I said, that goes for a lot of characters that deal elemental damage and can work with a proc. So he's definitely a top candidate for that. I would totally, like I said, if you got limited CTPs, and you have one of those, you might be able to give that to him and then take that CTP, that energy, and then give it to somebody else, or judgment, or whatever you had on him. Okay, X23. I ran her with energy when she just came to the game for ABX, and she could work with it, but I put rage on her because energies are like more rare and more valuable now than rages, right? Especially if you have Pierce. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna give her a rage because I want to use this energy for somebody else. But she does better in ABX with the rage as opposed to a mighty energy, which I had on her. But she can definitely work with it. You do, yeah, I'll show you the way her, I don't think many people actually have X23, and I wouldn't suggest getting her, especially with what seems to be on the horizon, the Black Order. So it's going to be 3, 6, 5, right? And then when she pulls up, when the screen pulls back a little bit, boom, right there, you cancel in the 4. And then it's 3, 5, 4. When her awakened skill is not up. All right, I mean, come on now. All right. Who else we have? Gambit. Okay, Gambit, we all know his rotation, right? It's basically the same as X23. Same as X23, except you're not hitting the 4 skill at any point. It's just 3, 6, 5, and then 3, 5. And yeah, if you don't know here, I'll show you real quick. I mean, because I have an energy on him now. So 3, 6, 5. You're canceling. Bada bing, bada boom. And I mean, you could hit the 4. Thing is, I beat down on him, so sometimes the way his skills work out, if you hit that 4, the beatdown's going off on the 4 skill, which you don't want it to, and then his off awaken rotation is just 3, 5. Problem with him for like ABX is that he targets all the mobs with his 5th skill. Otherwise, he might be somebody who you could actually swap in and do some damage with. All right, Cho. I know he can totally work with a proc as well. I haven't tested him, but I know he certainly can. I have a rage on him right now. He might be a character that I do like, underused Toons. How far can you actually push with them? And I might do something like that. If you guys want to see that, like, characters like Cho, maybe Doc. I mean, Spider-Gwen kind of in there. I already did one for her. What other characters could we do? I don't know. Maybe make a list. Give me some suggestions. All right, Iron Fist. Yeah, he can work with a proc as well. The problem with his rotation is that, like, to get the most damage, right? You hit the 4 when the dragon spawns, and then you could hit like 3, 6, 5, and then you get all those hits, or 3, 5. But I found if hitting the 4 loves to activate that proc, like right here, boom, because there's hits. It likes to activate the proc right there when you have it on the 5. So what you could do is you could start the proc off 3, 5. Let the attack play out, and then when there's like 1 second left on your proc, boom, you hit the 4, and then when it's time to go back into 3 and 5, you go back into 3, 5, and you can still get the hits on 4 as well. Luke Cage, he build this guy for PvP, please. I mean, he's so good for PvP. But if you want to use him for PvE, he can definitely do some work for you. He's got the same accumulation as Sharon Rogers on his 3rd. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's exactly the same. You play him basically the same, kind of the same way. 3, take some hits, and then you go into 5 or 6, 5. Seems to. Okay. And then who else do we have? Okay, so Moon Knight. I'm going to try to breeze through the rest just because of the length of the video. We're nearing 20 minutes, ladies and gents. Okay, so Moon Knight. He can work with a proc, right? I made videos on Moon Knight, so if you're not sure of what his rotation is, you know, go check it out. But it's 3. You cancel the 3 as soon as you see the buff, or when the grenade's in like midair, and then you go 6 cancel, or 5 cancel into 6, and then when 3 and 5 come off cooldown, you go 3, 5 cancel 5 right away into the 4. All right, Torch. He's definitely best with a judgment. I strongly suggest giving him a judgment, but if you didn't have one and you didn't want to give him an energy, I bet like a double fire damage 200 proc could probably work really well on this guy. And I would do yeah, it's 3. So okay, if you're playing with a proc, you do 3, 6, 4, and then, you know, 3, 4. You could probably hit 5 like after you actually proc. Playing with a judgment, it's 3, 6, 5. You cancel when he spawns the fire tornado, and then you go into 4. Okay, Invisible Woman. So her rotation here, real quick, I'll show you her rotation because it's pretty crazy. Her rotation is crazy. We do 2, 3, 4, boom, and then you do something like that. So 2, 3, 4 when she spawns the wall. So 2, 3, 4, boom, and then 6, 5, or 2, 3, 4, 5, and that works out pretty well. Or you could do 4 first, even depending on, you know, how well the proc's working out for you. Okay, and then Moonstone. Okay, I think we all know, you know, bonkers damage. Definitely strongly suggest giving her an energy, but if you didn't have one, she can do with a proc. And I think we all know, come on now, man, I think we all know her rotation, right? And then Doc. Now I haven't tested this guy with a proc, but I hear he works pretty well with the proc. And his rotation is, honestly, I'm not even sure. I'm not going to say something because I don't know 100%, but I know he can. Okay, so Gwenum, her rotation is going to look like this. So with a proc, so what you want to do, you want to go 4, 3, 5. When that happens right there, then you go into 6. Okay, when she just kind of hangs there for a second, and then you get all this stuff. There's accumulation on 3, so you definitely, pretty sure, or is it buff? It might be more, no, yeah, there's accumulation. Yeah, and she actually has the highest accumulation in the game. I thought Magneto did. Well, 1.5. I think Magneto has 1.5 as well. Mystique has 1, so it's 4, 3, 5, because there's buffs on all those. There's buffs on 4, there's accumulation on 3, there's the hits on 5. I'm not sure if there's a buff on 5 as well, but let's find out. Yeah, so you get the increased damage by 100% for 1 attack. That's huge. That's so huge, and it's very important to do. And then she has this buff, increase all attack, speed, crit rate on her 4. So 4, 3, 5, delay cancel, boom, going to 6, and you still get the buffs there. Okay, Medusa. Yeah, I know she actually worked very well with the proc. I plan on testing her with an energy, as a matter of fact. And she might be, I mean, so I hear her damage is very good with an energy. So I'm actually looking forward to that, taking this rage off her and slapping one. Come on, why is it doing that? It's so annoying. And I think that's it. That's it. We got through them all, guys. Got through them all. 23 minutes and 27 seconds later. So I'm going to end it there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this maybe, you know, helps you out make some decisions on actually, you know, who you're going to put your CTPs on. Yeah, all these characters over here, I definitely would not suggest putting a proc on them. They don't really work well with a proc. It's either that or they're just not really useful characters at this point. You can make that argument for a few over here as well, but yeah, these ones I just, you know, like Ghost Rider. I've heard people, man, I can't do damage with Ghost Rider. Well, you got a fire damage 140 proc on him. He can't work with that. And same with Odin. He just can't work with a proc. Trust me, if any useful character could work with a proc, I would have tested them with an energy by now. Those are facts. So I'm going to end it there, ladies and gents. You better stay tuned, though, because I got more stuff. You better stay breezy out there, because it ain't easy. But most of all, friend, you stay safe now. Godspeed to you, General.